So next week, we are delivering a podcast.
Yeah.
That
new you, new me, new us.
New us.
I mean, we're still here.
We're the same.
But
people.
yeah,
I think so. But you're gonna be able to see some of our best hits, I guess. By the way, I found out we did 23 episodes.
Oh,
so that
amazing.
is a season.
Yeah. What do we have? Laughs. We had things that made us think.
Yeah.
We made people think. At least we think so.
We got corrected. It's not Weathers, it's Werthers. Thank you for that.
Well, I knew it was Werther.
I didn't, so thank you for that. We said things that people never thought we would say.
Right. More than just soccer is basically the theme here.
More than just soccer.
Because we're more than just soccer. Even though we love it, it's our passion. It's a lot more to us than just that.
It is.
Kicking the ball around.
Yeah, for sure.
Or giving red or yellow cards.
Yeah, or we could do blue cards, or we could do...
Fair enough. Or orange cards. Yeah,
orange cards. But yeah, so stay along, listen to this episode. It has all of our greatest hits, and there might be some more soccer-ish later in the future. So
there definitely will be more soccer-ish later in the future.
New name, new brand. Let's go. But this is the call up. This is a new segment in the Soccer Podcast USA where I get to surprise Lori Lindsay with a surprise guest. Next week she'll surprise me, but for today, I had to pick her work husband, Chris Wittyngham, to join us for her first ever Soccer Podcast USA.
Hold on.
Welcome,
well,
Chris.
As soon as he comes into the screen, I'm like, okay, we have like a mix up. Like, are you on the wrong? Like, I'm like, this is strange. I'm like,
which group
wait,
chat did we end up on by mistake?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
a lot to play for, and here we are. Oh, our
Pure
man,
chaos and bananas.
What's up?
I rock pure.
Conrad.
What's up? What's up?
Me personally, very, very excited by it. NWSL's recent announced. Oh wait, get out of here! Yes. I was amazing. This is your call up. You introduce her, although she doesn't need much introduction. Let's do it.
Yes, Jenn Hildreth in the house. Oh God! Yay!
I love it.
How did we get so lucky?
I know, the beautiful, the one, the only.
This actually should just be. I cut into the introduction. I'm so sorry. Now no one is going to know your name. This should be the CBS podcast, though. I mean, we have got so many CBS superstars. So,
listen, anytime I can get Lori excited enough that she interrupts my intro, like I'm here for it. That means a lot more.
Rude.
Okay.
Oh my
the one and only.
Hello.
The way that I described you before you came on.
No. Sorry.
See, this is Christina wanted a clue, right? And I'm like, somebody. This makes.
I love it. Is that the face you give your beautiful 3 daughters?
Oh my gosh. Seriously. They're gone at school too. It should be quiet in here. Gunner, quiet. 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 Hi guys.
What's Gunner? Hi. What is Gunner barking about?
That's
Gunner. What?
Hi, Gunner.
shh. I don't know. He's protector. He heard someone at the door, so I don't know.
Are you guys rolling in? Like, oh, speak of the devil. Someone who has played a game today, Mike Grella.
What's going on?
Welcome, Mike.
I don't know if you can.
Yes,
I don't know
here.
if you can call it a game. I played like 7 minutes, but I'll take it.
Being around and being present in U.S. soccer as the FIFA referee, like I could see it and I could witness it. Didn't have any say in it, didn't have any impact. I just felt the ecosystem, right? Feeling it with the WNBA is interesting. Seeing it around the world, but like where I feel like I connect the most with is like the AFCON and the CONMEBOL teams, because as a referee, we have no voice, we have no platform, we have no vote, we have nothing. So like when I advocated for things, I did get retaliated against, right? Like when I and by retaliation is like, oh, all of a sudden you don't get assigned games. Like, oh, all of a sudden like it's like, oh, we didn't retaliate against you. We just didn't select you for these things that you're like, but you normally do. So it's like, I don't know. I think I come from the perspective of these players where it's just like my voice goes into the darkness. Like I'm just yelling in the woods and no one's listening. So I don't know. I think for me, it's kind of going to be, I think that's where I like really connect with the AFCON and CONMEBOL, because I'm like, what can they do? Because their platform isn't, a platform like everybody else's, but they feel like it should be, and it should be, but it's not. So it's like, okay, how do you find those things that change it? And honestly, that was one of the reasons I went to TV, was to educate, but also because I was just like, what are you going to do to me now, right? Like, I'm going to go find ways and spaces and places to protect my community that didn't have a voice and didn't have a platform for it. So
Yeah.
I know, sorry, like took us like all like down the whole thing of this, but I don't know,
Such
it's
an
crazy where it
important
feels
conversation.
heavy.
Yeah, such an important conversation. We're seeing vastly. I mean, you made a really pertinent point about, you know, just the different levels of fights, what that looks like at the WNBA, what that looks like with CONMEBOL or AFCON. You know, is just the variations of the similar and the same fight.
I want to continue to enhance it in every capacity that I can, to understand exactly who needs maybe hey, I need more from you in front of everybody, and who needs the arm around the shoulder and in the office, like, look, come on. You know, I believe in you. You know, I need more from you, right? We're on the same page. Okay, perfect. And finding that fine balance, like, when is it in front of everybody? When is it not? It is such a hard balance. And I think it's something not a lot of coaches talk about. Like, we do get it wrong. That's the reality of it. You've got 26 players, you've got 13 staff members. I'm a mother of 2 children, and I'm a wife, and I'm trying to emotionally exert myself in all areas to make sure that I'm aware. Okay, this player needs this player needs that, this staff member needs this, my husband needs this, my children need that. Like, it's very overwhelming. It's incredibly overwhelming. And I don't think enough people talk about it. You're just trying constantly to find throughout a day where you feel so exerted to make sure that you could create the best environment, from the pitch to not on the pitch to in the offices to you never shut off. You never shut off. There's always something to do. There's always something to talk about. There's always something to get ahead of. There's always something to accomplish. So I think in that space, just trying to navigate myself and take a little bit better care of myself, because I so easily forget about all of that, because I'm in a mindset of I need to push this ship in the best direction possible so consistently. And then, okay, really quickly pause. Okay, I'm a mom, and here we go. And we're getting the food on the table. And then, oh my gosh, I'm a wife. Okay, you want to go on a date night? When should we go? So it's just like, it's this consistent, like, whoa, at times, to be, you know, fully transparent. It's massively overwhelming, but there's no other, there's nothing else I'd rather do. It's just finding time for myself has been very difficult, and something that I think needs to find of its high importance in my schedule somehow. I'm lucky to work with the staff that I have. I'm lucky to have the group that we have. I feel very, very lucky in that space. And yeah, I really believe I'm only as good as the people around me. So I feel very excited with the staff that I have surrounding me, and how I feel we can really take this group to the next level.
Yeah. What was the final decision, and like that said, okay, this is the time for me?
Yeah, so I've been considering it already for a few years, which is also why I've been like doing broadcasting whenever I can, and working on projects like off the pitch whenever possible, because I didn't want my identity to just be playing soccer, and that's like, I think that's like the hardest part about this transition from professional athlete to like normal person, I guess you could say, is like, where our identity is tied to just that. And it's like, okay, I need to build my brand around who Janelle is as a person, not just as a soccer player. So it's been something that I had been thinking about for years. And then these past like 6 months, there were a few like life-changing things in my life, like life-changing moments that happened, that made it like very clear for me, like, okay, this is a step that I need to take now. I need to go in this direction. I dislocated my shoulder in my second to last game as a professional soccer player, and you can actually see the scar. Show you that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm queasy.
And it was like, I had dislocated it like 20 times, and I said, all right, if I do it one more time, like, that's it. Like, I can't go through this anymore. And sure enough, it happened in quarterfinals, the home game in November of this last year. I popped it back in place, and I kept playing like people didn't even notice. I was in pain more than anything. It was like emotional pain, because I knew that was going to be it for me. And then huge personal event happened how to refer to it is I don't want to go into detail, but um a tragedy happened in my family. Um and like all within the same time frame, had my surgery that happened, and it was just like whoa, like we just never know what's going to happen today or tomorrow. And I realized like I no longer want to be far from the people that I love. So it made it very clear for me like I want to be close to and with Rebecca, the love of my life. I want to be with her every day. I want to be available to my family whenever they need me. If I need to go home, I'll go home to them without having to say, "Oh, I have a game or I have soccer." Like, so it was just that. I think it was very clear for me because of those things. I still think about going back to playing every single day. But yeah.
Goodness gracious. But I'm thrilled that you're on. But okay, listen, this story that I don't think I've ever told you. When I was like 10 or so, like 1990 Men's World Cup, right? And I thought you were the coolest. You had the mullet, you had the tight goalkeeper jersey, the pull on like goalkeeper gloves. And I mean, I was like 5 years into playing at that time, maybe six, but I was like, I want to be a goalkeeper. I want to be Tony Meola. And
Oh no.
my dad would he built us a goal in the backyard. I'd make my brother come out there and shoot on me, and I would just pretend like I grew my hair out like mullet. It was already a little bit like a mullet, but I would just sit there and pretend. I would punt the ball up against our house and pretend that I was you when I was like 10 years old. Just
Can can we explain to people who don't know how cool the mullet was back then? Because I feel like if
oh,
you say mullet
dynamite.
now and you don't give any context to it, you're like, it wasn't cool, but back then it was. But anyway, Lori, thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you didn't turn into me. That's all I can say.
No, I was
I'm so
obsessed.
happy you went another direction.
I had not only did I have the women's World Cup like from the '99 for them picture, but I also had the men's team up on my wall as well, like a poster.
Awesome.
So you were like front and center um, all the times.
What is your talking point on that? Like him taking a break from CONCACAF this summer?
I just think if you need a break, you need a break at the end of the day. Like, I think sometimes people, especially with ballistic people, forget that we're all human beings. And, if he feels he needs time, and if he can't be 100%, I mean, that's been the dialogue from the fans from day one is if you can't, first of all, if you're not playing for your club at the moment, that doesn't pertain to him. But in general, if you're not playing for your club and you can't give 100% of yourself, then we don't want that player anyway. We want the best guys that are in form at that moment and the guys that want to wear the shirt the right way. And so, if for whatever reason he doesn't feel ready on emotional level, physical level, mental level, then I think he needs his. I think he should. He's entitled to his break because at the end of the day, we want the best version of Christian and. We're all human beings, right? It's difficult with the schedules now in Europe, how many games that they're playing. It's such a crazy demand, the travel and everything like that. Like I probably played in half of those games, if not even less than half of the games that Christian plays in a year. And I remember feeling just mentally exhausted, especially being away from home and stuff like that when I was in Europe. So if the man needs a break, let him have his break. That's my take.
Something that stands out that is forever embedded in your mind that's like, yes, this is what this is all about.
Yeah, that's a great question. And honestly, there have been, fortunately for me, hundreds of those moments. But the ones that kind of stick out the most are the ones that happened early on because they were just so shocking. Like I had never experienced anything like it in my life. The very first one was a very quiet one. I was in the bra by myself prior to opening. And I spent a lot of time there, cleaning and doing all kinds of shenanigans before the grand opening. But we had just gotten the cable guy in, and he hooked up the cable for the first time in the 5 TVs that we had there. And it was pretty late at night, and I had everything was locked up and closed, and just the bar lights were on. And I decided to I looked on the calendar, and it looked like there was 2 NCAA women's basketball games on at the same time. And I sat back on the banquette, which is these seats that are underneath the trophy wall. And I turned on the 2 biggest TVs that are just above the bar. And I had one on one game and one on the other game. And I sat back and I started crying. And I tried to figure out why it was. And it was because I had never been in a place where women's sports was the main attraction. That was the show. And so here are these huge, like 60-inch screens showing women's sports. And this was a space that, I was paying rent on, that I was, scrubbing the floors on, that I was scrubbing pots and pans on. And like, I had friends coming in and helping me with all kinds of random stuff. So we were like, it was at the beginning and just kind of building what would become the sports bra. And that moment was just like very quiet. There was no one around. And I cherish that time because it felt like the first time I was just like, it felt really special to me, whether or not it was special to anybody else. It was really special as a personal moment.
That's cool.
I think I want to leave, the legacies I always like to leave behind are leaving the team in an even better place. Like I talk about this so many times. If I'd have left Chelsea and Chelsea were bottom of the league right now, I'd have fouled. That's how I look at it. I wouldn't have done my job well enough if I hadn't have left a roster for the next coach to be able to come in. Yes, of course, to put their own stamp on it. Ideally, for them to take it another level, but to leave a foundation that is solid enough for somebody to go from. That's always what my goal is. And my second goal is probably always to put the women's game front and center of everything I do. Like I've been given this incredible privilege in life to be able to coach in a sport at a high level, that I want to make sure I leave this in the best place possible for the next generation.
I am joined by none other than Shannon Box, World Cup Olympic gold medalist, U.S. women national team player, and she does not know this. This is the one player that I feared refereeing coming into the FIFA international level. I am a defender, but she intimidated the hell out of me, and I loved stepping onto the field with her because she was strong, she was dynamic. When she missed in a tackle, she missed on purpose. Let me just put it that way. Like it was deliberate, but it was solid on how she did it because it wasn't injuries. So Shannon, I have never told you that, but you were the most intimidating footballer, top 3 I've ever had to referee.
That's
so
amazing.
Welcome to the podcast.
And I'm really nice. I am. I'm not intimidating. I'm a really nice person when you get me off the field.
Now with the Netflix deal for the Women's World Cup, what were your kind of initial impressions? I know I was kind of caught off guard. I didn't even know they were in the bidding process. But yeah, what were your initial thoughts when that came out, and then kind of, where we go from it, moving forward?
I was pumped. I mean, I know I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the numbers that Netflix is drawing as they've, put their toe in the water into live sports. And we also know their global reach. So I had no idea either that they were in the mix. And I think, again, it shows you the growth of the game. It shows you, one, with the fact that finally, I mean, we could spend days on this as well, FIFA finally separated the women's rights from the men's rights. Hello, FIFA. There's a whole revenue stream you're missing over here. Wake up. So, I cannot believe it took us until the 27 Women's World Cup for that to happen. Clearly, they were locked in with Fox through 26.
It's boring news, and these players shouldn't be having to do this work where it's like a mental, emotional labor to, speak out about the resources or lack thereof, and just like what the environment looks like while they're trying to win a tournament. And so, yeah, it's continues to be just disheartening and also just infuriating all at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it did sound like they came back out, a lot of the Brazilian players who spoke, Marta, Caroline. And I was curious, this is what I said too, because I'd seen Marta's comments, and then right before we actually went on to film that segment, I was thinking, okay, here these Brazilian players are going to be watching these Euros and being like, okay, well, look at the stadiums. They're packed, they're selling out, the biggest crowds, their fans are walking. The backdrops are obviously beautiful in Switzerland. And then Caroline came out for Brazil and said that she's been watching the Euros, and it's like, wait, what's happening here? This is a completely different situation that they're involved in. So just continue to feel for the players. It is. And this is what I said to Sandra and Christina Kupo, who we had on before. I was like, it's boring too. Enough is enough is really how it feels. So yeah, but it did sound like they've come back out and said there has been some changes since they spoke out, but it's just like enough is enough, and like we shouldn't be having to speak out about this. Just to get the smallest little things sorted.
Handball or no handball against Mexico when he fell on the ball, like blew my mind.
Handball.
I mean, Pochettino
Handball.
commented, "No way! Where do you get handball from? It's such not a handball."
He put his hand on the ball. It's not a
You're
handball.
correct. He did touch the ball with his hand. That is factually correct. But
You
is
realize
a
that?
deliberate handling offense?
Yeah.
Think of the context.
I think-
How?
I think
How is it
so.
deliberate?
He put his hand on the ball. I think so.
Yeah, he
Also,
put his hand
okay,
on the ball. But
we
was
have
it deliberate?
so many. We have okay, but there's so many. Okay, great question about that. But we see handballs called all the time that aren't deliberate. Literally 2 feet away or a foot away that hit somebody's arm that are not deliberate, and they'll get called and there'll be a penalty. All the time
Well,
that
it comes
happens.
down to the deliberate, right? It's not intent. It's the different considerations that come through it. But when we talk about like a deliberate handling offense, right? Here you have the player coming in for a challenge, right? He connects to it. He actually himself kicks the ball basically where his hand's going down onto it. He's already bracing himself for the fall at the point of contact. So it wasn't like the ball was there. It was almost simultaneously. He kicks it. He hits it. There's no secondary movement. Everyone's like, oh, his hand rolled. Yeah, it was on top and it rolled right off, right? He didn't like put his hand and then push it. But what advantage was gained? Like, what advantage was a Mexico player gained from putting his hand on top of the ball when there's no other attackers nearby? Like,
Control.
how is this not natural? Control. Like,
Control.
but
Then
he's
to relieve
literally.
pressure. Okay, here's
I'm
the better
surprised
question.
this is
though.
like answers from footballers because I'm like, were you expecting him to keep his hand behind his back when he's falling forward after he commits in that challenge so that his face smashes into the ground? Like, I feel like I'm talking about practical.
Yes, all of those are fair, but how many times do we see, and this goes to my point of like somebody's arms, you're defending and it hits somebody's arm and they call a penalty kick. They're not trying
But
to.
are they controlled? And that's where we talk about deliberate is outside the silhouette, right? You know, do you have a time and opportunity to move that got implemented back into the application consideration of the distance, right, et cetera? And is it natural? So is it natural for him the Mexican player to fall and brace himself for that fall?
I think it's natural, yes, but like you're still. I think if he's kicking it into his own hand, that's deliberate. Again, though, this is where I'm always confused because it is a natural position to defend inside your own 18 box and try to like move your body and you don't always have time to put your hands behind your back. And if it hits your arm, I still see that called. But I guess the bigger question is, if Pochettino was saying in the press conference, and I'd be curious what you think, if that happened at the other end, would it have been called?
No.
Did you see that?
It would not have been called. Yep. The Guatemalan referee, right on point, said absolutely not. I know and understand that managers use media to, right? He has to corral a country behind him.
Sure. I'm just curious about you. It's just a fun question.
No, I know. I saw that as well too. And I was like, nah, like it's such and there's a reason why VAR didn't recommend it down. Like, it's just fascinating because the whole referee world's like, no, we're good. And the rest of the football world's like, that's a handling offense. And I'm sitting here like if I was with Terry, right, when we do our CBS show and he goes, football understanding, referees don't have football understanding. This is practical. Like, I felt like I'm like sitting there. I'm like, wait, for the first time I'm arguing football understanding and TT's not here to yell at me.
I think there's always a conversation of what is taking so long? Why is it taking so long? So I'd be curious about that thought process for you as well. But let me just set it up as like, the thing that was interesting to Chris and I is when a player doesn't go down because they're able to keep their balance and then it is called a penalty kick and then rescinded, what's going into this and like what's the thought process for the referees and VAR? Because here's what happened. Lily Reel, left back for Gotham versus Jamise Joseph, forward/winger for Chicago. And Jamise Joseph takes Lily Reel on inside the 18-yard box and cuts essentially like gets past her, right? But because Jamise Joseph has such good balance and is able to kind of bypass the challenge, Lily Reel's the one that falls over. Jamise Joseph, Lily Reel's left leg does get stuck in front of Jamise Joseph. She's able to keep her balance through that, get a shot off, and in real time, you're just thinking, okay, she got the shot off, and then it's like play on. But then it's called a penalty kick. And then there's this like long delay and we're looking at it, right? And then the referee hasn't even been sent to the monitor yet. And it just feels like, okay, they should either be making the decision and telling her or get to the monitor a lot quicker.
What's on your hat? I keep trying to read it. Does it say thanks?
No, it says Freaks. Freaks, which is like a friend of mine who owns a antique store in Hudson, New York, so upstate, and the store is called Freaks. And
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I literally kept trying to reread that, and I'm like, I think it says thanks, but
it's like one of my favorite hats. Everybody's a bit freaky, so this is the perfect hat. And I jumped out of the shower because I'd gone running in this 100-degree heat earlier. My hair was still wet, which it doesn't matter. But I was like, let me just throw this hat on, and I'm like, Freaks it is today.
Freaks it is today. Shout out to
Freaks. And actually every day, really. So
shout out to Freaks. I'm gonna go stop by that place when I'm up there.
Yes, it's very cool. Very, very cool.
That sounds awesome. But like,
how are you doing?
Good. Being said, I know you have an incredible picture behind you on the opposite side. So maybe for the next show, you just turn your camera and we get your art design. If you want to know what that is,
no. I switched positions. So that I wouldn't have just like naked bodies all around. So
it'd be like a blurred image behind you. How epic would that be? I just have a white wall that CBS keeps getting on me for not having it designed for Champions League. I'm like, I'll get to it. No, but I mean, okay. So I realized,
Kirsten, I have a story. That's kind of about that I love telling. Kaya Hank, she plays in the NWSL right now for Portland Thorns. Just love her as a person and player. Last year, Wake Forest, for the first time, make it to the national championship, the College Cup. And one of their big things with Wake Forest, they had a lot of veteran or like experienced upperclassmen on their team. And they had a very clear conversation prior to the season about outside noise. There's going to be a lot of chatter, right? Like this team is good, but like they didn't want to hear it. They just wanted to focus on themselves. So they just named what that chatter was. And they were just like, the name Sandra. And so then they would just be like, shut up, Sandra. Anytime anything would come up or they would hear, they'd just be like, shut up, Sandra. And it was amazing. So this year, I've seen Kaya a few different times. And I told Rob Gale, her coach, I'm like, just go up to Kaya when you see her next at like your team meal and say, shut up, Sandra, and see what she says. And it's just brilliant. So I feel like we need to shut up Sandra because for the U.S. men's national team, because we all could have our opinions and we could all, but like, we're not the ones there, right? So Pochettino, get that group together. Let's go. We have a year out. It's easier said than done. But I mean, it really needs to be like enough with the noise, enough with, and this is what makes sports wonderful, is that everyone can have you can say whatever you want, right? But that is the point, is this be like, shut up, Sandra, if you're performing. And it was just, I mean, when Kai Hanks told us that, we just lost it. Jenn Hildreth and I it was like our favorite story of the season.
But like psychologically, you think about it, right? You are now putting that into an embodiment, you're personifying it, and then you're just basically dismissing it, right? So it's like being able to create, what is this noise and this, ambiguous, amorphous thing, and being able to concretely put it together. So if you can name the U.S. soccer men's national team, that's for Sheridan. I always say U.S. men's national team online, and she loves it. Like I was doing commentary when on Nations League, and Jesse Marsh like sprinted across. I think it was the U.S. bench. I'm like, Jesse Marsh sprinted across the U.S. men's national team bench, and she's texting me. She's like, "Are you kidding me? Of course it's the men's national team." I'm like, hey, I'm just qualifying.
You have to. We have even social media handles that are different these days. So let's go. The distinction is important.
What would you name the U.S. men's national team if it's not Sandra? What name would you?
Shut up, Steve. I don't know. Just
You gotta keep the alliteration. I like it.
yeah, you have to. I mean, listen, you heard it here first, everybody. This is the new thing. Like
Shut up,
the U.S. men's
Steve.
national team needs to adopt "Shut Up, Steve" and let's freaking go. We've got 1 year. Actually, I think it's a year today. It
A
starts.
year today or a year yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw the
So
posts.
like, luckily listen. If the men get out of the group next year, report back to this 365 days later. This "Shut Up, Steve" moment. So.
By the way, we're probably gonna find like a troll named Steve who's gonna start
Yeah.
trolling us.
Right. Exactly.
And if you're not a troll and your name's Steve, we still like you. But we're just gonna go with that one. It's like the Karen connotation. But what is going? But they had old people candy. Do you see this? Weather's original.
Yeah,
They call it
the
old people
Werthers.
candy.
You call it Weathers or
Weathers.
Werthers?
What's it called?
Werthers.
There is an R there. I think the brown people call it Weathers. The Latinos call it Weathers. Anyways, like the guy cracked up. I mean, mind you, he looked like he was 19 years old, but like, isn't this like old people candy? Like, I love it, but like,
I love it too. Yeah, I think actually the commercials when I was growing up were like a grandpa with his like a grandson being like sharing a moment together, and here they were like eating Werther. So yeah, LOL, all of it, but they're delicious. Side note, I used to like eat those when I traveled all the time because sometimes you just like want something sweet when you're on the flight all the time, but I don't like try not to, even though I do love some candy and some gummy worms and all that kind of stuff, gummy nerds. I was just eating the Werthers for a long time. But then I'm like chewing on it. I'm like crunching it before. And then like it just defeats the purpose. And I have like 15. Like what? What am I doing?
okay, I got a question for you. Flour tortillas or corn tortillas? This is really driving me nuts right now. Like I had no bread in the pantry.
Yeah.
I go diving in for like meat and cheese, and there's only corn tortillas in our pantry, and I have not been doing the grocery shopping for the past 2 years and my family, to be quite honest. Where are you at? Because this can really determine, and I'm pretty sure our British producers have no idea about tortillas, but where are you at with between corn and flour tortillas? This is really going to dictate a lot of this.
Okay, I might not be on the show ever again. No, I have two thoughts. If I'm at home, then I'll have flour tortillas. Anytime I'm out and getting like tacos, like street tacos or anywhere out and about, I am going to go with corn. Actually, that's not entirely true. Actually, that's not entirely true because one of my favorite taco trucks in Philadelphia, these steak tacos, are flour. So never mind. It honestly just depends on if I'm looking at the pictures. Yeah, there are some of the most amazing tacos and they're delicious. And you get 3 and they're flour. So
what's
about
the
you?
name of this place in Philly? Because like I don't imagine Philly for being tacos. No offense.
Yeah, well, it is like right by the Italian market, which is also just like there's also a whole Mexican area as well. You can get tacos, and this is a taco truck that's kind of like off. A block and a half off. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. We'll figure out the name of this place because that sounds like something I never go to Philly, but that sounds like.
I'll snap a photo for us, okay? Because when I walk by there, I'll snap a photo. Oh yeah, they're delicious. They're delicious.
I'll have to call up Philadelphia's airport that reached out and liked our show so that I can fly in to go try these tacos.
Exactly. Actually, we need a sponsor, an airline sponsor. Here we go. Like we need to get you here.
Come on, TPA in Philadelphia. We're talking about TPA. They argue is the best airport. Phoebe the Flamingo, but you guys will see that later. Okay, so for me, corn tortillas. To your point, very very rare. If we're in South California for Baja Street tacos, I'll go for corn. But aside from that, it's flour every day. Anyways, I just as I didn't know when to stop.
How have you been feeling with all of this? Like with all your training and stuff? Like as your body.
You brought Heyo?
Let's go.
Let's go. I've seen you been talking smack to people, by the way, like Speedy Turtles or something. You're like the loser team or whatever. I'm like, yep, it's alive and real.
Hey,
call them the losers.
No, what was it? You said, "Oh no, the team is like we're going to be the losing team or something like that." I don't know.
On the women's soccer new text or whatever.
Yeah,
we're going down FC. Let's go, guys. Can you hear me? Okay, I have to admit I am at a dentist office.
Yeah, we could hear you, but that's exactly where you want to be. Actually, you know what that's reminding me of? Who was bringing it up? I feel like we were in the same group when this came up, but maybe not. It was like that dentist commercial with Mia Hamm. It was like, no, I'll take a cavity.
Yeah.
No, I'll take a cavity.
I know my little
Before the 99.
5-year-old boy is in there right now, and I feel like I want to take it instead of him. I know, he has his first cavity.
How is
I'm
he
like,
doing?
Dave, it's your fault. You've been giving him the candy.
Side note, since we've been on this podcast, I've got a message that says, hey, have you been taken by aliens?
Who says that?
Just a random number that showed up in a message on my phone. Hey, have you been taken by aliens?
All right, so the weird,
The wild,
and the Werthers. Come on,
I know
let's
the
go.
names, you didn't. We're learning. That is the theme here. It's not just soccer. We're learning about everything. Whatever we want to learn.
Yeah. So definitely keep on, watch us. We are retitling to
Soccerish.
Let's go.
See you next week.
Hey.